Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a viewer request topic and looking into what are their potential actions towards you. So thank you to the viewer who recommended that I cover this topic. I think I've done it maybe once before, so it's definitely time to touch on it again. So there are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Satin Spar. Group 2 is the Flower Agate Sphere. And group 3 is the Celestite. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you would like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Satin Spar. So let's take a look and see what are their potential actions towards you. Okay, so we have the Seven of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Ace of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Five of Wands, so more of that fire energy. Knight of Wands, more fire. Justice, which is Libra. And the High Priestess, which is Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. We've also got Forest Temple, Enlightenment. Mending. And Earth Spirit, Stability. And with that reference to Earth, that's drawing me to Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So with the idea of justice and that energy of balance along with mending, it feels that this person may quite possibly reach out towards you with some kind of an apology, some kind of an olive branch that they offer. It may be a small gesture with the Ace of Cups, something which is very heartfelt, but it could just be a very simple step. It feels that there's a little bit of hesitation on their part to offer the full sort of nature of what they want to express with the Knight of Wands. A lot of passion, a lot of attraction that they have for you, something that is drawing them back in your direction. With the High Priestess, kind of this inner knowing that ties in with the Enlightenment and the Forest Temple, something that has really dawned on them in the time since you've been in separation from one another, or some time that they maybe needed away to kind of learn what they had once it is gone. They are aware that you may be a little bit defensive with the Seven of Wands, Five of Wands also, kind of trying to avoid potential conflict, wanting to avoid making matters worse. So again, it may just be something very simple that they offer, kind of dipping their toe into that emotional water with you to kind of protect themselves from potential rejection, wanting to, take things very slowly with the idea of earth, spirit, and stability. This ties in kind of with building blocks, wanting to start very small, maybe reestablish a bond of friendship between the two of you. If this is an apology that they are offering, it doesn't feel to be anything that will be, like this huge paragraph or multi-paragraph, explanation that they would send to you via email, via text, via, direct message on social media, or if they are speaking to you directly. Again, it doesn't feel like somebody who's just going to go into this whole litany of things that they've discovered, that, that they know that they've done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. But it feels like something that, they'll start very small. It'll just be this very introductory, again, kind of this idea of an olive branch, something that is offered which, does really speak to kind of a softening that may have occurred within them. If this was, where they were very kind of rigid or stubborn in something regarding this connection, not wanting to move forward, maybe even kind of getting a little bit spooked by the intensity of the connection with the Knight of Wands and kind of moving in the other direction. This really indicates a slow but substantial shift back towards you, moving out of that energy of running from the connection and wanting to invest more into this. Again, something that has really dawned on them with the High Priestess and the Enlightenment. I'm also drawn to these two swans here down at the bottom of this Earth Spirit card. Swans are often seen as a twin flame sign. So if you resonate with this person as your twin flame, this can indicate, or this can even just be a high-level soulmate. Somebody who has really kind of recognized your worth and value because something has really changed or shifted within them. They may have gone through a lot of tower moments, a lot of things that have been kind of shaken up in their life. They may be in a process of kind of making amends with a lot of people from their past, and you're sort of on this list of people that they are wanting to kind of repair things with. They know something is owed. There's been a little bit of hindsight and kind of a higher perspective that they now have about themselves and how they were showing up in this connection and other connections in their life. And so something that they offer to you is, again, it's a marked change from how they were behaving towards you the last time you were dealing with them. It does open the door to something very promising It feels like just it's a first step towards something that can really build and develop between the two of you, depending on if you choose to allow this person back into your world, allow them into your life. It does come with this idea, though, that this very introductory energy with the Ace of Cups, that, again, they're fighting a lot of fear. It takes a lot of courage on their part to step forward. It's this energy of humility that is also required on their part that may have been very slow to develop. It may be something that they still are kind of fighting that urge, fighting that fear to just sort of retreat, to just leave the situation as it is. But the undertones of whatever they deliver to you, a heartfelt message, something that even just energetically you can perceive that shift within them, even if it's something very simple in nature, very kind of mundane in nature. And then there's this whole undercurrent with the Knight of Wands of, this deep desire on their part to try and work through things, to try to create balance in this situation, to kind of right the scales of justice, so to speak, and take the two of you, move this connection out of whatever sort of energy of sort of conflict, any ways in which they were really pushing this away, pushing their feelings down, stuffing those down, that there is some kind of a shift, something slow, something that they want to build slowly. It's almost piece by piece, having to kind of work through this. The two little figures of the fairies here on the mending card does speak to cooperation. Somebody who may be seeing things from your perspective. Somebody who, again, and these are kind of, they're almost children on this card. So again, that's that very kind of introductory energy. Something very small, something very simple, something very basic, but it's meaningful, that really has the potential for the two of you to work to almost rebuild this, start a new foundation together, create something that's a little more stable than what you were dealing with before. Both of you being a little defensive, a little on guard, which it feels like that is still kind of a boundary which is necessary in order to kind of work on cleaning up those very kind of intricate corners and aspects of this connection, that it's going to take time for the two of you to really rebuild that trust, to kind of acclimate to one another's presence again. But inside, within, kind of in sort of the undertones or the implications of whatever is said, there's so much more going on than meets the eye. It's something where you may even just energetically perceive this person to be kind of nervous when they approach you, even if it's something where it's online communication. There may just be something that you really sense. It really activates some kind of intuition within you with the High Priestess and the Forest Temple, that enlightenment energy. That there's more to this message or this gesture than meets the eye. There's more that they want to reveal, but they're holding themselves back. They are restraining themselves. So again, obviously everybody has free will. You have the choice to, slowly try to rebuild this, to entertain what they have to say, to really hold that space, to allow them to kind of step closer towards you. This is also a great opportunity to honor the boundaries you've needed to put in place for yourself in regards to this person. You're kind of raising the bar, you're raising the standard, where even if it's, these small gestures, that it's an opportunity for them to really prove that apology in the form of changed behavior. In terms of consistency, in terms of, taking the time necessary to kind of rebuild this trust, to start from the ground up. Again, maybe reestablishing a friendship with one another, or just taking things very slowly. But with this Knight of Wands, this also definitely speaks to passion and attraction, something that they are magnetized to do. This can talk about a guilty conscience, that they feel, that they really owe you something. Even if this kind of just results in closure for the two of you, they feel very compelled in your direction. They're very hesitant, they're very fearful, but they're pushing past that fear. There's something that they need to say, or that they need to, kind of express, or, just this desire to kind of move into closer proximity with you energetically, to really see what can develop. A lot of changes that may have taken place within them. A lot of growth, a lot of realizations, a lot of hindsight that may have afforded them, again, this very kind of humble perspective, a deeper appreciation for you, for what they had with you in the past. We've got here on this card also this yin-yang symbol, so that ties in with this idea of a twin flame, a soulmate, something that, through this period of separation or conflict or strain or stress between the two of you, it has opened their eyes to something, maybe through other experiences that they've had romantically with other people, or just a period of time of really being on their own, introspecting, going within, feeling into this, taking a step back from having, directly been involved in it, and really taking the time to sort of puzzle their way through what it is that they feel for you, this intensity, this drawback towards you. And this is this energy of surrender, of moving back towards you, moving back in that direction with something, a small token of affection, a small gesture, or a small offer that has the potential to kind of over time and cumulatively through a combination and kind of a repetition of these sort of small gestures, these almost these baby steps, little by little, the two of you definitely have the ability to create some kind of balance in this situation, to work with each other and with the energies of this connection, rather than to continue to kind of fight that, or have that be very conflict oriented, that this energy kind of moves forward through their action in the direction of the potential for more stability, something a little more practical, a little more grounded, the two of you really having learned from the mistakes you've made in this connection in the past, so that you are able to make better choices going forward with one another. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self now and see what do they want to tell you. Okay, and they say, I'm not who I used to be. So this ties into the idea of some changes that they have gone through, some kind of enlightenment, some awakening that has happened, maybe a series of tower moments, a humbling which needed to take place. And so it's almost a remarkable change energetically. It may be very surprising when this person comes towards you. It may be in a very different energy, almost this energy of kind of restraint and patience that could have been lacking in them before, to where regardless of what they say or kind of how they say it, it's just something that you're going to be able to really perceive as you are sort of reading this communication, as you are exchanging energy with them, as you're really hearing what they have to say and kind of, doing that back and forth with them in that capacity. It's something where you're going to recognize that there's been some kind of evolution, there's been some kind of awareness, some kind of an awakening about this person in terms of them leveling up in some way in their life, and also kind of reaching a greater depth of clarity about the importance of this connection and who you are to them. They also say we are still connected. So this ties in again to that idea of kind of twin flames or soulmates, something where they feel really magnetized back towards you. They can't continue to sort of move on in the other direction and keep this distance between the two of you. There's unfinished business here. There are things that need to be said, need to be smoothed out, need to be kind of provided. It's the energy of vindication almost. They feel very compelled back in your direction. They also say, I feel frustrated and stressed out. So this can tie into that fear, that hesitation, not really sure how they are going to be greeted by you, if you're going to accept them or reject them, which ties in with that idea of something small, a series of small gestures, small efforts that they're not putting themselves out there fully. They're not fully opening their heart. They're holding a little bit back. They're keeping a little bit, within themselves, at least at first, until they are able to really get a feel for how receptive you are to them. If this is something, these conflicts and these difficulties are something that you are both, interested and ready and capable of sort of working your way through. They also say, you are my North Star. So this is that energy of being magnetized back towards you, feeling very connected to you, something that has really become clear to them about the importance of this connection, who you are to them. Perhaps they have come across terms like twin flame and soulmate and are resonating with that. And it's this almost acquisition of knowledge that they now have, this insight within themselves. It may even just be a feeling that they have that is really drawing them back in your direction, wanting to make change in this circumstance, not wanting to kind of leave this unfinished business between the two of you. And they also say, let go of suffering. You are ready for a new life. So this is that energy of the apology, wanting to really smooth things out, wanting to make things right, wanting to deliver some kind of an amends to you, to make the effort, even if it's something very small, to not leave things as they have been, action that is taken on their part to kind of shake up any stagnancy that you have experienced together up to this point, to again kind of right the wrongs in a very small way, these small gestures, these little olive branches that cumulatively, if you're open to this, if you're interested in this and working on this together, or at least holding space for them to make the effort, to move towards you, to take those steps that are necessary to really prove themselves through consistency, through action, that there has been a change, that this is not just promises of change, but that they are truly embodying that energy of elevation, that there's a lot of potential here to create something new, a new chapter between the two of you, a reimagining. Again, kind of learning from your mistakes of the past, taking those lessons, making that the foundation of how you then can build in a new direction with one another. So I'm going to get some guidance for you about the situation. Okay, and we have simple gifts, appreciation. So this is that confirmation of those little olive branches, those little gestures that this person, is kind of on this brink of bringing forward to you. So this is really, it's guidance to, not expect too much out of this person too quickly. If they come back in and it's very surprising and things seem to be going very well, just understand that they are needing to take things slow. They are still working through a lot of fears and resistance within themselves. This is taking a lot of courage. It's taking a lot of strength to move towards you. Whatever they are, capable of offering, obviously, not accepting breadcrumbs, not accepting less than what you are deserving of and what you want and you expect out of a romantic partnership. Just as much as they are working through boundaries, again, holding those boundaries that you've had to establish for yourself. Not kind of getting ahead of yourself, not, expecting that it's all of a sudden everything's going to be fine, understanding that it's going to take time and it's going to take consistency and it's going to take effort. This person is, going to have to prove some degree of change. They're going to have to prove consistency. So just really appreciating these small gestures, kind of reading beneath the surface of that and, expressing gratitude and appreciation. If you feel guided to, expressing that to them directly, but it feels also just sort of sending out that vibration of appreciation to their higher self or to spirit for the effort that they're taking, for the courage that it has taken to really come towards you in this humble energy, to make the effort, to make that gesture, even if it's something where, this is just to provide closure for you. If you've moved on in your life or, you're not at the stage, you don't feel this person's ready, or things have changed within you and what you may at one time have wanted with this person. It has changed and evolved just as they have changed, you have changed. So what might have worked at one point in time, maybe you guys are better off at friends at this point, or maybe this, closure is something which really helps you to tie up some loose ends within you. It's a gift in that sense. It provides you closure you didn't know you needed. It brings you a sense of peace that is helpful for you in fully detaching from this situation and moving forward in other ways in your life toward other, romantic possibilities, or just, kind of helping you to sort of close out a chapter of your experience with this person for now or possibly forever. And so either way, what they bring forward, there is a gift in this. It may be hard to kind of see that at first, but it feels like something that, in hindsight or even cumulatively, it will become apparent through kind of this regularity of effort on their part, this consistency. You'll start to see the bigger picture in this. You'll start to see, kind of the motivation for this person is in the interest of healing. It is in the interest of creating balance in this situation. It may be something that they are, again, because they're a little bit fearful, they may be very hesitant to fully dive in, to fully open up, to fully reveal themselves. So you're going to need to read between the lines a little bit, not expect more of them than they are capable of giving, and also not lowering your standards to really, allow back in something that doesn't necessarily resonate with who you are, who you've become, and what you are looking for and wanting in your life at this point and going forward. So I'm going to get some initials now, and this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. I've got K, T, L, G, D, F, H, R, C, N, S, Z, V, and J. So those are your messages, group 1. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I now offer pre-recorded video readings that are sent to you as a private YouTube link. Turnaround time on those is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 2. You chose the flower agate sphere. So let's see, what are their potential actions towards you? Okay, so we have the Six of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. The Fool, which is Aries. Page of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Four of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Eight of Wands, which is more fire energy. Eight of Swords, so more air energy. Raven Spirit, Truth. Loyal Heart. And Crystal Cave, Trust. So there is definitely a strong energy of communication here. With the Eight of Wands, this is obviously a card of incoming communication. This can talk about text messages, emails, something that this person is kind of beyond the point of thinking about things, and they are getting ready to make that effort to make themselves known. They may be in the process of actively drafting what they want to say, kind of scripting this, putting those final touches on, kind of building up that momentum within themselves to come forward. Page of Wands can also talk about good news, very unexpected communication. It's very positive. The nature of what is said is it's a welcome communication. It's something which really helps to inspire hope within you, respark the connection in some way. Also with the raven here and the two owls on the Loyal Heart card, birds being harbingers of communication, messengers. With the two owls specifically, this is an energy of wisdom. So something that has really become apparent to this person, them turning up in a more wise and kind of evolved energy than the person that you were dealing with before. They've gotten their priorities straight. Perhaps even with the Eight of Swords, which can talk about sort of these fears or entanglements. This can even really relate to some kind of a revelation that they provide for you, that in the midst of all of this and whatever sort of excuses that they had made or whatever other direction that they had chosen to move in, with this idea of truth, that they now see the truth, they see the light, they see that a direction they had chosen to go in was not in fact the correct path for them, that you have remained in their heart and on their mind this entire time. They may let you know that they have taken some concrete steps to disentangle themselves, to free themselves from maybe a karmic connection, free themselves from limiting beliefs, fears that may have kind of kept them at a distance or caused them to retreat from you in this connection. The idea of Four of Swords, it's an energy of rest and contemplation, of kind of this necessary period of dormancy within this connection, that is then sparked to life. This person coming forward, coming out of this cocoon stage into, again, this more evolved energy. With the Fool, this can talk about a desire for a fresh start. They're ready to move forward. They're ready to kind of rebuild this. Well, they've been in this cave of solitude, this sanctuary within them. They've kind of searched their soul, and the truth has become clear to them, that they feel this deep connection with you that is different than what they have known with anyone before, and that they've been able to experience since. These two owls, this can really tie into, the two owls wearing the crowns specifically can tie into divine feminine, divine masculine energy, a recognition of you as a soulmate or as a counterpart, maybe even seeing you as their twin flame. This might have been something that you had expressed to them before, and just the idea of that, even if they didn't know much about what a twin flame was, it could have just been very overwhelming for them, kind of spooked them, caused them to sort of retreat from this, all the implications of that, that title and what comes along with that. Somebody who is operating out of very distorted energy that has now kind of gone through this metamorphosis of sorts. With the idea of the Fool and the Page of Wands, this can be very kind of introductory energy, that this communication is a substantial first step out of that cocoon, in terms of their life in general, and also in terms of regenerating something in this connection. Six of Cups is a card of reconciliation. And with the butterflies here, this also speaks to some kind of transformation, a transformed energy. But again, it's with the children on this card, it's a very kind of not even necessarily immature energy. It's just, it's a beginning. Also with the kitten here on this card, there's a lot of growing that needs to do. This is not just diving back in, picking up exactly where the two of you left off, but it's this person returning to you, or making effort towards you, making communication to you. That's the beginning of something that has the ability to grow into something very substantial. Also, again, with the two cardinals here on this Page of Wands, that counterpart energy, recognizing that the two of you are essentially birds of a feather. You're very much the same. What they had perceived to be differences or limitations, the ways in which you were too incompatible to make this work. They've really had some kind of change of heart in this circumstance. It's this desire to build something, or to look at this, to give this a chance. To take that leap of faith. They may feel also with these kind of these zodiac signs here on the Fool card that the stars are finally aligned, circumstances are right, some things that may have been blockages, obstacles, or barriers to the two of you coming together, or continuing in this connection previously, whether this is internal factors, that swords energy, that mental energy, fears, belief systems, mindsets, experiences that they may have had, unhealed wounds or trauma within themselves, heartbreak, kind of the ghosts of the past that sort of followed them into this connection, operated as that third party energy, or that wedge. Something has really been released about that, or they've come into this greater clarity about how they essentially were standing in their own way previously. So it might have felt like right person, wrong time. There's been a shift within that, and it feels like a very positive form of communication. It's a progression in this circumstance. It's the potential to grow into something and kind of embark on a new adventure together. I'm also drawn with the Four of Swords. This often talks to me about telepathy. So there may be an increase in that. You may be feeling this person energetically as kind of that prelude, this idea of crystal cave, that kind of that communication that happens within, that can be a form of them sort of testing the waters energetically before they make themselves known in a physical capacity in the real world. Or this can also tie into kind of that buildup, that anticipation. You are able to really perceive this and to recognize this at the soul level, at the heart level. The two of you have been in communication this whole time, and so maybe that increases for you as kind of an indication that this person is on that brink. They are disentangling themselves from limitations within them. They are taking that step forward. They are getting ready to speak that truth, to make that communication that has a great potential to turn the page in this situation. It may even be something as simple as you were right. You were right this whole time. I don't know what I was running from. I don't know what I was fearing. I don't know what I was thinking, not choosing you, not choosing to move towards you and continuing to invest in this connection before, but I'm ready now. I'm ready if you are willing to have me. That's kind of the energy of what is coming through. That might be in the nature of what they say to you. Again, this kind of, this very kind of small, it's a beginning. It's not, going from point A to point Z, overnight. It's something though where, the two of you are more in this stance of alignment. It's a demonstration on their part, even through the words that they use, the ways in which they, communicate with you, hold space for you. It speaks to some kind of evolution within them. It speaks to an alignment that has taken place within them. They've balanced out some kind of distortion or shadow, and they are now able to, kind of exchange with you to help reestablish that trust. They're speaking more of the truth of their heart. They're speaking with more integrity and consistency than they had previously. They have recognized these fears within them, and they choose to move forward regardless. So definitely the beginnings of something that can grow into, kind of what you two had imagined, or you had imagined even singularly that this can, really develop into. I'm also drawn to these two keys hanging up here on the Loyal Heart card, and this can really speak to, the two of you holding the key to one another's heart. This person has found the key to something that was really keeping them held back, something even internal within them, very subconscious, that had kind of led to whatever distance, whatever period of silence and separation that the two of you have been in. They have liberated themselves from that, and this may be part of that communication where they're finally ready to, give you the key to their heart, and they are willing and able and ready to recognize that they, in a pretty major way, hold the key to yours as well. This is an energy of cooperation, again, of coming back together, starting fresh, starting at the beginning, starting over. If this was a false start in the past, this is almost a reignition of that, where the two of you are a little more wiser. You've had some experiences, you've learned, you've grown, you've gained some wisdom out of these things, out of what has happened between you and what has happened in your life in other ways, and you are bringing that with you. These better tools, maybe new communication skills that have been learned. The importance of communicating feelings and fears rather than running from these things. All of this seems to be what this person comes with. And it also appears to be very apparent just in the words that they're using, the way in which they are communicating with you. And it's definitely this energy of confidence that they're coming forward with. This is a readiness. This is trusting in this process where they were very overwhelmed and kind of maybe skeptical of the connection before. They are now ready to explore this and kind of learn the deeper layers of what this is, what this means, and what the two of you can become together. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self now and see what do they want to tell you. Okay, and they say, I am clearing past life traumas. So this is that Eight of Swords energy, those entanglements, those fears. This can be things from literal past lives or even just a previous point in their life to dealing with you. Those ghosts of the past, those wedges and those barriers within themselves, belief systems that they had, experiences they have had romantically that, kind of came with them. It was already, sort of a limiting factor in their ability to give and receive love in the past in this situation. It's something that they are working on. It's something that they are coming to a lot of clarity about as well. It's something that they have been working through, which is enabling them to then come towards you in this changed and more open energy. And we also have accelerated movement, communications, and action. So confirmation right there of both that communication and the action towards you. This is not just somebody who's going to sit in that mental realm and that spiritual realm and, keep sending those telepathic signs. That might be, communicating with you in that sense quietly and from within. There may be a little bit of that as kind of this precursor as they are sort of wrapping up these last elements within their life, these loose ends, clearing away some of that other debris. There's an idea of wanting to come to you in a fresh energy without any of these encumbrances that might have really been limitations before. So if they are holding back, if they are hesitating, it's a matter of that certain things are wrapping up, certain cycles are coming to a close. This is not somebody who's deferring that process, but somebody who is maybe, if they were living with someone, for example, and they've decided to, break up with this person, it's somebody who's, going to wait until they have themselves established in a place of their own, until they are no longer, sharing space with somebody else, even if they're sleeping in two different rooms, someone's sleeping on the couch. This is somebody who wants to kind of be out of that circumstance fully and completely before they come towards you, not wanting to kind of involve any sort of third-party energies in the circumstance. So there may be a little of that kind of telepathy, sort of those indications of I'm coming, I'm getting ready, things are kind of closing out, things are working out, waiting on some of these other kind of factors to play out, packing up the boxes, moving, signing a new lease, etc. And so this isn't somebody who's just kind of deferring that off into the future. This is accelerated movement. This is action taking place. All of this action, all of these things that are closing up, the opportunities, areas of their life that they are creating space in, it's all leading to this communication and action towards you. And we also have all signs point to you. So this can tie into kind of that fear they may have had about the intensity of the connection, the nature of this as a soulmate or a twin flame, that they are in a place of being okay with that. They're actually kind of excited about that. They may have done their research, and what seemed very scary or very overwhelming or a little too too otherworldly or outside of the box. They're really starting to resonate with a lot of these concepts. 8 of Wands, this can also tie into a lot of signs that they're getting, a lot of angel numbers, seeing your name a lot of reminders, a lot of synchronicities that keep bringing that attention back. It ties in too with that idea of the stars aligning with the Fool card, where it feels like right person, and then the timing is increasingly becoming right to take that action. They may be waiting for some kind of a sign to kind of, press that send button, to reach out. They're kind of right on the brink. It almost feels like a racehorse that is very tense, is waiting for that, starting gate to lift before they can just, charge forward. They very much have their goal in mind. They have their sights set on you, on the truth of their heart. They're ready to take action, and it's kind of in those final stages of making those preparations for that accelerated movement forward. They also say there is no need to worry. So again, they are very certain about the direction that they want to take at this point in time. They have moved through a lot of fears. They've moved through a lot of limitations, a lot of things that were binding them in the opposite direction, or binding them to kind of a lower vibration within themselves, doubt and fear. It's this idea of no need to worry because I'm coming. It's all kind of adding up. It's all starting to make sense. All of these kind of different things are coming into alignment in order to create that opening for the two of you to really, embark on this new chapter together. It's this person kind of finishing up on their stage in the chrysalis and getting ready to emerge with these wings, this butterfly energy. And they also say, I dream of you constantly. So 4 of Swords is also that sleep energy. It's that energy of dreams. So you two could be meeting in the astral realm. If you are dreaming of them a lot, this is confirmation they are dreaming of you. Again, kind of with that idea of like the telepathy is sort of this precursor, this introduction to what they are wanting and making preparations to do in the material sense. You could be picking up on that energetically, all of this energy that they are investing into thinking about this and planning. It's transferring to you in the form of telepathy or dreams. They may also be deliberately setting that intention to meet with you in dreams, or again, kind of extend that telepathic communication towards you. So I'm going to get some guidance for you about the situation. Okay, and we have Stella Maris, trust. So that really ties in with this idea of there's no need to worry. And this is really guidance to, just keep doing what you're doing, keep operating in that vibration of abundance, moving forward with your life, staying receptive and open to, however this situation unfolds, whatever kind of miracles and unexpected turns of events can come, that there are kind of larger forces at work. There's a lot of things which are closing up and are getting ready to start. All of these things really coming into alignment. Trust as well in what you're feeling in terms of this increased velocity and this energy between the two of you, this anticipation, without focusing too much on outcomes or, time frames, just being very open and receptive to, this person coming forward in the time and manner that is suitable for both of your highest good and kind of this ultimate result in this circumstance. Any kind of delays, it feels like it's for a very good reason. They have evolved and moved beyond creating deliberate delays out of fear. It feels more of just like practical matters. Sort of like, again, kind of these things that are in the process of wrapping up. There's only so quickly that they can do that. Like if they're having to move out, for example, they may need to give notice at one place that they are living. It takes time to pack one's belongings and boxes and so forth, and kind of get all that in order. Moving day, kind of, they don't necessarily just want to reach out to you and call you the day that they, land in their new place. They may want to, get things unpacked, get it a little more hospitable, kind of get settled in. It's energy like that, where there are things that are occurring. There's things that are really being shaken up within their life and within their world. And it's just kind of a matter of that element of timing needing to play out, that it is moved beyond any kind of deliberate delays or procrastinations. And it's now just kind of in that practical aspect and matter of, things just needing to play out organically at this point. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Okay, we have you. S, F, K, M, B, T, G, Q, O, P, V, N, H, X, and Z. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I now offer pre-recorded video readings, which are sent to you as a private YouTube link. Turnaround time on those is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the Celestite. So let's see, what are their potential actions towards you? Okay, so we have the Page of Swords, which is air energy, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Knight of Cups, which is water energy, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Knight of Pentacles, which is earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Three of Swords, so more of that air energy. Seven of Wands, which is fire energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Seven of Pentacles, so more earth energy. Elves, playfulness. Observer. And Pine Spirit, purification. So with Observer and Page of Swords, they are definitely watching you from afar. This can also tie into the idea of strategy. The two birds, the two bluebirds on the sword here in the Page of Swords can talk about communication, that throat chakra energy. Bluebirds are harbingers of joy. So a very kind of unexpected, very kind of high vibrational communication that this person is kind of right on the brink of bringing towards you. There is kind of a mischievous energy with this idea of elves and playfulness. They may come towards you in a very light-hearted energy. Kind of joking, trying to not talk about a little bit of avoidance with the Seven of Wands and Three of Swords of kind of some difficulties that you'd faced in the past. This could be somebody who almost just tries to kind of come back in and not talk about the elephant in the room. A little bit of avoidance of that with this, the figure here with their back turned to the tree in the Pentacles, where they're wanting to, it's a sense of wanting to acclimate to one another energetically again before you get into very deep and heavy conversations and topics, which may or may not work for you. It may seem a little bit like they're trying to kind of avoid that. It's somewhat of the energy of almost picking up where you left off, but kind of rewinding past all the difficulties and trying to just kind of go back to the start, go back to that very kind of lighthearted energy between the two of you before things became very complicated. It does demonstrate effort on their part. Some kind of a decision has been made with the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. This is kind of that meeting place, that balance, almost between the head and the heart, that this is somebody who is no longer running from or avoiding this connection, but they're wanting to kind of meet you on your level. They're wanting to really work with you. Again, that energy of kind of avoiding sort of the difficulties that the two of you have faced maybe at first. It may require you to sort of take the lead to redirect their focus to that. Feeling very glad to hear from them, feeling very appreciative. This idea of kind of breaking the ice, breaking the silence with this wintry scene here in the Pine Spirit and purification. They're coming towards you in this very refreshed energy. It's a change from the heaviness you may have experienced from them before, some kind of gloominess or moodiness. This is instead something that is very refreshing. It's refreshing to hear from them again. It's good to hear from them again. But at the same time, you might be the one to have to take the lead to not just entertain this celebratory energy with one another, this kind of giddiness or this playful energy, which this person may seem to be in almost as a way to kind of avoid that heaviness, again, avoiding that elephant in the room. So you may need to be the one to kind of steer that connection, direct the focus. It feels that they will be definitely a little bit resistant to that, a little bit avoidant, just trying to kind of want to move beyond that without, kind of cleaning the slate between the two of you without getting too in depth about what has happened in the past, which may or may not work for you. That may be a problem. That may be this point where kind of the two of you, your approach to things, them operating at just this very practical level, you wanting to touch on the emotions. You may be butting heads with this person in that capacity. It may feel kind of like a struggle to get them to open up, a struggle to get them to kind of hold space for you to discuss how you've been feeling. It may be a struggle to get them to open up to how they have been feeling about you, something that they have learned. It is almost this idea of someone wanting to just, again, kind of come back in, fast forward past the difficulties that need to be faced and just resume, kind of business as usual. But it feels like a very changed energy. This doesn't feel like somebody who wants to just kind of avoid all of those difficulties that happen. Things that happened in the past, things that can't be changed. Instead, they just kind of very superficially want to touch on that and get to the good stuff with you. This doesn't feel like somebody who wants to, just kind of bypass a lot of this stuff, emotionally bypass or spiritually bypass these things in order to kind of repeat the same cycles. There does seem to be some sort of certainty, some kind of evolution that's taken place. It may be a long time coming with this Knight of Pentacles, this very slow moving energy. Somebody who's been very stubborn to change, and the best that they can do at this point is just showing up in this different energy, not prepared to rehash the past, almost wanting to just talk about that in maybe 5 minutes and then close the door on that, just clean slate, sort of sweep that away and focus on this very kind of forward momentum. Someone who doesn't really see a lot of value in kind of going over old wounds, opening up those old wounds. There is a lot of heartbreak here that kind of situated right in the middle with the Three of Swords. It may be that elephant in the room that, again, you need to be almost the one to kind of redirect that focus, to turn their gaze around to this. In the ways in which they're kind of avoiding this, you may need to be the one to kind of bring the conversation back to that, to enjoy kind of this good times, this very kind of light and refreshing energy that they are in, but that, there are necessary conversations which need to take place. There's some kind of an alleviation, maybe even of heaviness that you've been feeling. This doesn't mean punishing this person for things that they can't change. They do seem to show up in a very different energy than what you were dealing with before. It is the ability to kind of start fresh, to have a different sort of experience with this person. Now, what that kind of develops into sort of remains to be seen. It's a little bit of immature energy. It's a little bit of kind of this emotionally distant, not really wanting to face a lot of these things, face the music or discuss a lot of these things. It's not totally outside of the realm of possibility that through consistency and effort and patience that you are able to successfully, or at least in a way that brings you enough satisfaction to where you're comfortable kind of moving in a new direction with them, talking about that elephant in the room, talking about those, those difficulties that you faced, establishing some new, ground rules with each other, really communicating and making known to them sort of what their actions or inactions towards you in the past, with this silence, with this kind of icy period, this long period of separation, how that has made you feel, any kind of trust issues that you may have, the idea of wanting to take things slowly. That's actually really recommended in this circumstance. Again, just because of this very almost kind of avoidant energy that this person sort of just springs back into your life, just like, here I am, let's start again, not really wanting to talk about kind of those uncomfortable subjects. So you may be necessarily a little bit guarded. The Seven of Pentacles, needing to take time, needing to evaluate this, to suss this out. Efforts again that may be made to have to redirect this person's focus to these difficulties. It may also be this energy that they're not quite ready to give you what you need in terms of resolution, in terms of a full emotional openness. So this may be a coming back together only for you to be the one to part ways, for you to be the one to say that you need something more from this person. You need more of that emotional openness. You need more of that depth. Somebody who rejected you in the past, you're now the one setting those healthy boundaries and barriers of, this is what I need from you. It's great to see you. It's great to hear from you. But I need something more. The playful energy, the very lighthearted energy, this kind of this fresh start energy that it's all fine and good, but there's still this heaviness. There's this difficulty that needs to be worked through. It needs to be processed, that you need more participation from them on an emotional level. And so again, something that might be kind of lacking in that, but a lot of enthusiasm on their part when they come back towards you. It feels feels that they've been watching you from afar for some time. They've really been kind of observing. This may even be kind of a congratulatory energy that they come back in with. Maybe they reach out on a significant event like a birthday or an anniversary, a milestone, something you've accomplished, maybe that you've accomplished professionally, and you've posted something about that on social media. All of a sudden this person shows up in your DMs, or they text you or they call you or something with just this, hey, I heard what you did this or that, congratulations, or happy anniversary, happy birthday, any number of these kind of things that might come up. And it might be very stunning, very, very kind of unexpected. They're just kind of a blast from the past is what is really coming through with all of this. And that it's nice to hear from them. It's good to hear from them. It's very almost refreshing to hear from them. But beyond that, there's still a lot of avoidance on their part as far as really touching on what has occurred in the past, what has gone wrong in the past. It may take some time to reestablish that trust with you, and you may be the one to have to put the brakes on in this circumstance. Really advocate for yourself. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that they can grow and that they can really observe this and really look within and kind of grow from this point. But this doesn't feel to be a coming back together where then the two of you are consistently kind of building toward a solid future together. It still seems like people who, although there's this meeting, you're kind of unmatched in your approach to this circumstance. They're still just operating kind of on this, sort of like emotionally devoid aspect of self, very practical matters, not wanting to talk about the past, kind of let's just move forward from here, not wanting to provide that, solid closure in the forms of talking about the difficulties and kind of working through that, exchanging apologies and whatnot, but wanting to just kind of progress from that point forward. Leave that stuff in the past, leave it untalked about, not really touch on any of that difficulty. Whereas you might be in this place of, you really have taken your power back from this circumstance, you really, your value, your worth, what you are willing to accept in your life and what you need. You've come to a place of being very okay with this circumstance, being very okay with yourself. You've grown out of this situation. And so there's something that you are needing emotionally that they may not be capable, or they're a little bit stubborn or resistant to provide to you. So a little more conflict might come out of this, or just it feels almost a little bit like a power struggle, but not something which will necessarily, kind of permanently, in some cases it may permanently be an impasse that you two are just not able to work through, and that this is the closure that's necessary in this circumstance. But it's you almost raising that bar higher, and this person maybe then needing some more time to kind of think about things, observe that, take in and digest the words that you have said. They may still be operating with a little bit of a closed heart chakra. And this interaction with you, it may be just what is necessary to kind of bring down some of those walls, break through some of those barriers within them, when instead you're the one that is, receptive, but then you're letting them know you need something more in your life. You need something more from them. It could be very startling and shocking to them, and it's just kind of the jolt that they need to kind of do that next work, do that next phase within themselves, to be able to bring something to you, a transformed energy with the butterfly here, this blue butterfly, this communication energy that ties in again with this blue and the throat chakra, some kind of an evolution that needs to take place within them in terms of how they are able and willing to talk about their thoughts and feelings in order to create measurable change forward in the long term in this circumstance. So I'm going to get some messages from their higher self now and see what do they want to tell you. Okay, and we have unexpected blessings. So this ties in really well with that energy of them just kind of popping up out of nowhere, very unexpectedly, showing up out of the blue, and that it feels very good to hear from them. It's very refreshing to be in more direct contact with them in a material sense, just even having that dialogue, even just over the internet, over the phone. If you're not in physical proximity to one another, it's very unexpected. It's a pleasant surprise to hear from them. It's a blessing. It's something you've been waiting for a long time. You may have really sensed and felt this person kind of lurking on the peripheral of your energy, kind of a sense that they were hanging around somewhere, that they're watching. maybe little innuendos or clues, little kind of a trail of breadcrumbs that they had been leaving on their social media that was indicating that, even if they weren't directly admitting to this, they're very much aware on some level of what's going on in your life. It might also come as a total unexpected blessing in a way, or just a surprise that they have been lurking, that they have been keeping tabs on you, they have been observing. When they come forward, with that congratulatory energy just kind of popping up out of nowhere, and that they almost feel and seem, and what they say indicates they are more well informed about what's been going on with you in this period of separation and silence than you would have thought, based on the nature of no communication. And we also have passion games, so that can tie into a little bit of that immature energy where they're trying to come through very playfully in this very kind of lighthearted and happy energy, which is it's not a bad thing, but it's something where, there are serious conversations that need to take place. There, are these difficulties, these elephants in the room, which must be addressed in order to truly move forward and have some kind of a productive fresh start with one another. But this person may still be in that energy of just not quite ready, kind of emotionally immature, not fully willing to, kind of tread through the darkness that the two of you have experienced together. They're not really capable or willing to, have these difficult conversations, which are a necessary threshold to being able to kind of transcend that, to be able to fully move together into a true possibility of renewal in this circumstance. And we also have, you are a highly sensitive empath. So this can also tie into a little bit of the lighthearted energy and what may feel like playfulness or playing games. This person is very aware that you are deeply psychic. You are deeply aware of them energetically. They know that they can't fool you. They can't get much past you. And so there is this hesitation. It's almost trying to keep things very much on the surface level out of fear that you will in some way recognize kind of the depth of sorrow that they've been holding within, regret that they are not in necessarily a space of being humble enough to fully express. So kind of keeping things on the surface level in order to, avoid that deep exchange with one another. Also this feeling of, on some level, they're aware, although it feels that they've really been avoiding that kind of the hurt and the heartbreak that they've caused you, and that it overwhelms them. It makes them very defensive. They don't want to look at that. They don't want to feel that. They don't want to open that box and have to really, see that sorrow, see those tears, feel that pain, and hear that anguish of what they have put you through. It's, this person also feels to be very, very sensitive, very empathic, but it's something they've really shut off. They're operating with this closed heart chakra. They try to kind of avoid that, maybe just as kind of a tactic or a coping mechanism in their life in general. Somebody who really uses humor to deflect from uncomfortable or difficult kind of circumstances. And it feels that they're still kind of operating in that energy of avoidance when they come back towards you. And they also say, I think so highly of you. So again, a lot of congratulatory energy. They may really have been observant, kind of observing from the sidelines, watching from the shadows of the ways in which, you've really grown and transcended from the difficulties of this connection. You've taken the pain and the disappointment you've experienced, and you've used that as fuel or motivation to further yourself in some way, to better yourself, some kind of a glow up that you have, really gone through. A lot of inner child healing with this idea of playfulness and elves. That you have really taken this opportunity, this experience with this person to look deeply within, to face your shadows, face your wounds, and to deal with these things, to come to a place of balance and acceptance and transcendence with these things. They look to you as an example. They almost feel that they're drawn back towards you because they've kind of hit a wall in terms of how inspired they are, whether they're watching you or just energetically what they're sensing about you. They're trying to almost emulate that process of growth, but they need to come in closer to do that. There's something that they need to kind of figure out, some kind of a clue or an answer they think that you may hold, to them kind of feeling better about themselves. As much as this is kind of a playful, lighthearted energy, it feels very much like a mask for a lot of deep-rooted sort of hurt that they hold within themselves, things stemming from this connection from other areas of their life that they've not dealt with. And so it's almost like them reaching for your light, needing to come in closer, to touch on that, to exchange with you in a more direct way, in the hopes that something will rub off on them, that it will almost be, they can take something away. It doesn't feel one-sided, like they're just trying to, gain something from you, gain a piece of your light, consume that, and kind of go about their life. But it's this urge that they have to come in closer. They're seeing you. You represent this, almost this source of healing and purification for them. But they kind of lack the ability to communicate that directly or communicate that to themselves. But they see you as, even just energetically, kind of the answer that they've been seeking, what they've observed about you, the changes within you, how they've even been able to see you from a new light from a distance. It is really inspiring them to, again, kind of break this silence, come out of the shadow, put the cloak away in a certain extent, although they're still very much cloaked and kind of hiding behind humor and, just trying to keep things very surface level, to kind of move closer towards you. Someone who's deeply in need of healing, wanting to heal this connection, needing a deeper level of healing within themselves. And this is kind of that strategy, is to reignite something with you. And they also say you are safe from all harm. So this really confirms that although they may come in this playful energy, there is nothing that is, malicious or malignant about this. It's just kind of a coping mechanism that they have, using humor to deflect from pain. Still a lot of heartbreak and hurt within them, to where even if they are interacting with you and you have to be the one to kind of set those boundaries, hold your ground with this person, that is a healing experience for them. They touch upon your light enough to where they take that back and it creates changes within them. It is that push forward. So they want you to know that they're not just coming in to kind of take advantage of you, to get something from you and run. There is an effort from their higher self and from their soul. They're being pushed forward, but this is somebody who still has a lot of debris within themselves. So again, boundaries and barriers, even from their higher self, they're really advocating for that if this person comes in and are just, you give them several opportunities and they're still just skirting around or just barely touching on or kind of avoiding some of the difficulties that you've experienced, that those boundaries are very necessary, that there's still more healing they need to do before they can come to you correct. So I'm going to get some guidance for you about the situation. Okay, and we have the fruit of the vine, abundance and growth. So this really is talking about kind of the next level that is possible in this circumstance with this person. This might be a confirmation of, again, someone you hadn't heard from in a while, and it's very surprising. It's a small change, but it's something which, again, indicates that they've been affected by this connection in more ways than you thought they had. There's a richness that they may, kind of take away from this, something energetically that is transferred to them. It may still, they may still need time to grow. There may still be some maturation that is necessary. So again, continuing to, focus on the work that you've done, your own needs, your own abundance that you've cultivated for yourself. And if this person is unable to kind of meet you on that level, if they are unable to, consistently, and this doesn't mean that that's every conversation as you're rehashing the past and you're trying to make this person feel bad, but it's a very necessary period of kind of touching on what happened so that two people can strategize kind of how to move forward from that. If apologies are owed, then they are given. If it's something where you need to kind of talk through what was learned, the lessons that were gained, things you would do better, all of that's part of that process of growth, of figuring how to kind of work from the roots that you have established with one another and grow in a different way, move into a more prosperous direction in the connection with one another. But it's also bringing to mind this idea with all these pentacles here on the tree, and the 7 of Pentacles, and then we've got these grapes here on the vine, that the timing might still be off in this circumstance. This person may still need to ripen a little bit. They may need to grow a little bit. And so this might be something where this is not kind of that forever union with them, but it's a very necessary stage in that process. They need to come in closer. They need to get into closer proximity and contact with you. Something about your journey and the abundance you've cultivated within yourself. They need to touch on that energetically more directly in order to kind of take some of that with them in their process of continuing to grow, continuing to transcend the limitations of self, continuing to dig deeper and dive deeper and opening up to that space of vulnerability within them. so that kind of the limitations and the heaviness that they've been carrying around, that these things can be transcended for themselves and their own individual journey, and in terms of what's possible between the two of you in the future. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. Got T, L, V, X, S, C, R, D, F, B, N, I, K, G, and U. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I now offer pre-recorded video readings that are sent to you as a private YouTube link. Turnaround time on those is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers in my Etsy shop if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.